On this episode of TVR Live, we're going to cover three major stories. The first one being a concerned parent from Frederick County, Maryland, airs out his grievances by crashing out on a woke school board. If you look and see what happens, it's actually hilarious. The second one being Trump scores a major win in the economy and the housing market. The final story being Senator Hawley questions and interrogates the district attorney of Minnesota. Was he recorded doing a pay-for-play scheme where he got a $10,000 donation from the Feeding Our Future scandal? All this and more on this episode of TVR Live. But first, don't forget to like this video, share this video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And it happens right now. Now let's get to the funny part, where conservative activist Sean Porter of Frederick County, Maryland, had this to say to a woke school board to air his grievances. There is some foul language, but listen to the main message behind what he's saying. It's funny because he frames it as a prayer, but it's pretty much anything but. Listen.
History with this board, and he knows that no matter what he does, they are going to cut him off and boot him anyway. So at this point, he can make it known and he can air his grievances. So then we did some research. A guy's name is Sean Porter, and he has a long history of bothering, annoying, trolling, and appearing before the godless school board.
So I'm going to form my statement in the form of a prayer. Dear Lord, please give this board full of morons the wisdom to spend less money on denying veterans access to public meetings and citizens access to public meetings, and spend more money on disabled children and children that need it. Please, Lord, allow these fucking morons to stop giving all of our money to stupid LGBTQ plus programs and pushing the transgender agenda on our students.
It's better.
Please, Lord, give these fucking idiots a clue.
Mr. Porter.
I'm sorry, you interrupting my prayer, sir?
Stop.
For what?
You've
For
been
what?
asked before about the decorum of this.
I'm sorry, my prayer is not subject to your approval, Mr. Rose.
I'm just warning you.
It's a legislative prayer. It's protected by the First Amendment.
You may continue, but you're
I'm
going to
continue with my prayer, sir.
What?
May God have mercy on Dean Rose's soul. He obviously doesn't have one. Lord, please protect our children from these monsters who are trying to convert all of them into being transgender. Dear Lord, please protect our students from mass shooters who all tend to be transgender. And dear Lord, please allow these worthless motherfuckers to stop pushing transgender ideology on children.
Mr. Porter, you're done. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you cut my speech off?
Yep, you're done.
You stopped my prayer because you didn't approve of the words in the prayer?
You're in violation of our policy.
What policy do you have on prayer?
Thank you.
What policy do you have
We
on
do
prayer?
have a policy
What
on
words are
decorum, and you
illegal? You
violated
didn't
it.
provide a list
Thank
of
you, Mr.
words.
Porter.
You didn't provide a list of words that I can't say.
And just when you thought he was done, he's not. The crash out gets worse from here. And actually, if you're versed to foul language, you might want to skip this part.
Before the meeting, sir.
Mr.
Yes, he will list them.
Away from the podium, please.
No, because it's my turn to speak. It's my time to speak. You didn't tell me what words I couldn't. Americans, you are a Republican pig, sir.
Could you have
I hope you lose your election. I didn't finish my speech. Oh, I appreciate it. I didn't finish. I was in the middle of a prayer.
You're not required to leave.
You required me to leave?
You are required to
Are
leave.
you threatening to arrest me if I don't leave the podium and don't finish my prayer here?
I'm asking you to leave.
Okay, great. Escort me that way because my shit's over there, pipsqueak.
He was towering over him.
Honestly, even though his conduct didn't necessarily have decorum, you got to respect the fact that he's willing to call out this woke school board of Frederick County and Maryland for the ridiculousness that they're putting their students through and trying to push this LGBTQ agenda through to all the students in the school district, on top of just wasting money, not on veterans, not on the average everyday American. It came to making it easier for certain people to do stuff within the school activities for their children or their grandchildren. No, They want to spend it on pushing this ideology, and kudos to him for calling it out. Even though he did curse a lot, it's worth it just to see how much he roasted them for it. Now let's move on to President Trump and the major wins that he scored on the economy after the January jobs report was announced on CNN. And before we start with the announcement, pay close attention to the rhetoric that CNN is using and the pessimistic tonality surrounding the January jobs report and the unemployment rate fall.
Hot jobs report. I mean, there's really nothing in this not to like. You're seeing a lot of sectors that had been softer, like manufacturing, for example, looking better. You're seeing numbers that really nobody expected. And, that's one of the things actually that I find quite interesting about this report. The consensus was unusually all over the place. There were a lot of different banks, a lot of different analysts that watch these numbers. Oftentimes they have roughly the same idea of what's going to happen. That was not true this time. And I think it speaks to the fact that we are in a very unusual moment. So I guess my one caveat to the very good news in this report is that I would want to see another one, maybe a third, with similar kind of upward trend before I say, wow, yeah, we have a labor market that is in fact not softening. It's getting stronger.
The unemployment rate was expected to stay at 4.4, but look, it didn't stay there. It went down for a second month in a row. This is encouraging because there had been this uptick last summer, last fall. It was starting to raise some concerns, but the fact it's going down, that signals this is not a job market that is imploding. If it was, you would see that unemployment rate keep going up.
Let's see conservative commentator Devory Darkins with over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and also another channel on Rumble who is also on X say that job wage growth is outpacing inflation when you look at the statistics.
Okay, so as you guys can see here, from December 2024 to December 2025, the percentage regarding average weekly wage growth was 3.8%, and compare that to 2.7% of inflation. That's exactly what you want. You want wage growth superseding inflation. Now, what happened under the Biden administration for at least 2 years, it was the opposite. And 1 year, it was just atrocious. I mean, 9% inflation rate absolutely dwarfs people's income.
Let's hear some more context to the wage versus inflation from a Republican strategist on CNN, the one in particular, Scott Jennings of Kentucky. Let's hear what he had to say when it came to the real-life statistics surrounding the situation.
Other numbers that jumped out to me today that also, if they hold, portend positive outcome for them this year, and it was wage growth and inflation. Wage growth in January was 3.7%, inflation 2.7%. So prices are never going to reset back to, say, 2016 or 2017. That's not going to happen. But what you want to do is have people's wages outstripping inflation. That actually happened in January. So you have a smaller government, an increasing private sector, wages outstripping inflation, median rents are down, the lowest in 4 years. The stock market is up over 50,000. That does help a lot of people who are active investors and also people that have 401ks and pensions, et cetera, et cetera. So if I were in their shoes and telling a story, there's plenty here to tell. And, if what their predictions are about a boom in 2026 come true, you can see how this might turn around for them in the election cycle.
Provides a perfect segue into the next major economic win under the Trump administration so far in 2026, and that is the housing market. According to the federal housing director, mortgage affordability hit a 4-year high.
Characterize us as having good momentum thanks to President Trump. Biden destroyed the housing market for 4 years, Sandra. If you can think about it, mortgage rates went up almost to 8%. Now we recently saw a 5%, a 5 handle on mortgage rates. That's a huge victory. We're headed the right direction. We still have work to do. But obviously with these slam dunk economic numbers and everything else that we're doing in the housing market, I'm very confident that we're going to get the American dream back. It's just a darn shame what happened these last 4 years. And boy knows we have our work cut out for us.
It's funny because begrudgingly CNN had to admit that mortgage rates are the lowest they've been in years. Listen to how they say it, though. It's like they're anti-American or they don't want the economy to do well just because it's Trump. The TDS is real.
Rates have now fallen to their lowest level in more than 3 years, and industry experts hope that it will help break the stalemate that has kept reluctant sellers from selling and would-be buyers from buying. CNN's Vanessa Yurkevich is with us now on this. All right, Vanessa, how low are we talking?
Yeah, we're talking about the lowest level in more than 3 years. So the average rate for a mortgage, according to Freddie Mac this week, 6.06%. That is down significantly from a year ago when mortgage rates were above 7%. And if you look at this line chart on your screen right now, you can see hopefully that we're exactly where we were 3 years ago. The left-hand side of your screen in January of 2023 and the right-hand side of your screen in January of 2026. That's encouraging news for home buyers, prospective home buyers who may have been waiting for mortgage rates to fall back closer to that 6% level.
Stunning admission by a left-wing news network and CNN. They stated that Trump made a really good move when he spent $200 billion buying mortgage bonds, saying that that ultimately led to a drop in mortgage rates, specifically saving home buyers and renters of homes over $200 per month.
Why this is happening? Well, it could be pointing to the fact that President Trump did direct the purchase of $200 billion of mortgage bonds, and that was designed to lower rates. So some experts saying that is why we're seeing these lower rates today. Real estate agents and experts, as you say, are hoping that this starts to actually move the market. Sellers willing to sell and buyers willing to get into the market. But what is this going to mean for everyday Americans who may be thinking about buying a home? Well, if you're buying a home, let's say $450,000, you're going to do a 30-year fixed mortgage. You're going to put 20% down. Well, a year ago, you were going to pay a monthly payment of about $2,400. Now this year, January 2026, you're looking closer to $2,100, $2,200. That's a savings of $230 a month, and that is significant if you're looking to spend money on other things like groceries or a car payment. And certainly for folks who have been wondering if this is doing anything for the market at all, well, in the month of December, existing home sales actually rose by 5.1% compared to November.
And the good economic news and economic wins for the Trump administration and President Trump in particular didn't stop with a booming jobs report. It didn't stop with mortgage affordability. It didn't even stop with wages outpacing inflation. It also led to this, a $1.4 trillion relief cut from Lee Zeldin that was triggered by President Trump that would make cars more affordable. $2,400 more affordable. Let's listen to the data behind this exactly by Fox News.
Whatever they can, including with regulations like getting rid of that one that makes cars have a button to cut the engine at stop signs.
The largest act of deregulation, as you point out, $1.3 trillion of deregulatory relief. For American families who want to go out and purchase a new vehicle, it will be over $2,400 more affordable. This is about promoting consumer choice.
Of course, when any other past administration gets their regulations cut when they were president, is going to receive some backlash from that former president. Let's see what President Obama had to say with regard to Trump slashing his regulations due to climate change fear-mongering during the Obama administration.
Historic deregulation efforts alongside the EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. The New York Post actually out with their signature wordplay today, calling the president a man on a mission. Former President Barack Obama actually reacted to these rollbacks of his climate change regulations by saying this: we'll be less safe, less healthy, and less able to fight climate change. Also, the fossil fuel industry can make even more money.
Then, let's go and see what Wall Street Journal had to say in defense of Trump slashing regulations.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board, though, calls Trump's move a liberation and writes, cue the apocalyptic warnings unhinged from reality. What progressives really fear is that they won't be able to dictate the energy supplies, cars, and appliances that Americans can buy. Greenhouse gases aren't toxic and don't affect air quality. The real import of the Obama endangerment findings was to give the Obama and Biden teams legal license to mandate electric cars and force fossil fuel power plants to shut down. How do you see it? I mean, was it all just about shoving EVs down our throats?
Yes, because it wasn't the market dictating. It was being forced down from top down, telling consumers what they needed to buy instead of allowing the free market and consumers to tell you what we wanted.
After that, we'll see that California's gas is double, and that instead of drilling for gas and oil in their own state, they're importing it from Iraq? What?
I am from California. Why don't we ask Obama and then, of course, Gavin Newsom how their constituents are doing with double the price of gas than everywhere else in the country, because Chevron has left the state and Valero is closing, yes, another refinery. So California's biggest import of oil comes from, you guessed it, Iraq, because they refuse to help their own people and drill and refine in the state. That doesn't sound any cleaner to me than anywhere else in the country. So if you want to import your oil from Iraq because you choose to not give your state constituents the best plan that they have and the choice, well, then that's on you. Good luck. Yeah.
Which brings us to the final story of this episode, and that is Senator Hawley questioning and interrogating the district attorney of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. And it's funny because he squirms all around when he gets pushed on the issue, and he directly quotes him from the audio tape. Let's see the fiery back and forth between Senator Hawley and District Attorney Ellison.
I had my team assisted with the information that led to the prosecution and conviction of these people.
No, you didn't. You didn't lift a finger to prosecute them. No, you did not. You didn't lift a finger to prosecute them. You had, BS. You had whistleblowers come to you as early as 2019.
You're the one talking BS.
Hey, listen, it's my time.
Doesn't know what you're talking about,
sir. No, sir. You now have encountered the truth and you don't like it. Why'd you take their money? Why'd you take their money?
I didn't.
You took $10,000.
No, that's a false statement.
$10,000 9 days after the meeting.
False statement.
You took $10,000. Here's what happened. They went to your office. They solicited money from you. They solicited help from you.
That's also wrong.
They came to your office. It was your official office. You met with them for 54 minutes.
No, they didn't.
They asked you for help. You pledged it to them, and they talked repeatedly about money. In fact, it's all they talked about. Money, 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 money. They said, we will put our dollars in the right place. We will support candidates that will fight to protect our interests. You replied, that's right. They said, if you are securing your donor base and securing your power base, you can act the way you want. You replied, money is freedom. They said the amount of money circulating, I'm reading the transcript, the amount of money circulating in our community today is powerful, and we haven't realizing it in a meaningful way. And you said, give me the specifics. And 9 days later, you took $10,000 from people who were then indicted. It's in your reports. Why'd you do it?
Sir,
was it worth it?
You know what? This is a theatrical performance.
This is the truth. This is what accountability looks like, of which you've had none. You helped fraudsters defraud your state and this government of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it.
If you think that was bad, just watch as Senator Hawley calls off Senator Paul, telling him, I'm going to question him however I want to, and then tell DA Ellison, they've been sounding the alarm since 2018 and 2019. On the fraud that's been happening in Minnesota. It's crazy how angry he gets when he's interrogating DA Ellison. Check this out.
That's the truth.
I think we've made the point. Let's keep the tenor just
for the record.
I'll ask how I want.
He's lying, and that's the truth.
Oh no, this is all on the record, sir. Did you bother to investigate where the money that you facilitated their fraud for, where it went? Do you know where it went, what it was used for, the fraudulent money? I do, because we just heard testimony about it yesterday.
Because we were key players in the
hundreds of millions of dollars to terrorist groups, to transnational criminal organizations, to the drug trade, to drug trafficking, to child trafficking. And you took $10,000
That's a lie.
And helped them do it. You know, the other thing is, whistleblowers came to you as early as 2019. Let's look.
It gets even more heated, and he's like, don't talk over me. This is my hearing. He says, I'm not your pal. You're right. You should be called a prisoner. And then at the end where he says he should be indicted, I'm like, damn. He completely crashes out on DA.
As early as 2019, whistleblower. Don't talk over me. As early as 2019, it's my hearing, pal. As early as 2019,
don't call me
whistleblowers came to, well, I should call you prisoner because you ought to be in jail.
Well, we'll see what you can do
about it. In 2019, whistleblowers came to you in your office and referred to you fraud allegations from Feeding Our Futures, and you blew them off. Listen, your own state newspaper
That's a lie.
investigated it. The Minnesota Star Tribune, the Partners in Nutrition, brought its concerns to the Attorney General's office in 2018 and in 2019, and you did nothing. You did nothing for years. The only action you took is, once all these fraudsters came to your office and asked you to get involved and offered you money, then you got involved. Then you took the money, and then you got involved.
They did not come to my office. You're completely wrong about that.
You met with them
I did
for
not take anybody's money.
54 minutes, and you took $10,000, and they also gave your family money. They gave your family thousands of dollars in campaign contributions in addition to what they gave
false
you.
Statement.
Let's put
this is completely untrue.
The New York Post.
Yeah, we know the New York Post.
Minnesota Keith Ellison, AG, accepted campaign donations from individuals linked to the $250 million COVID fraud scheme after they were in your office. The donations came on December 20th.
Sir,
you met with them on December the 11th, and on January 20th, the FBI knocked over their headquarters.
No,
you ought to be indicted.
We went over a lot in this episode, so let's break it down. First, I'd like to know how you felt about the hilarious crash out by this activist in Frederick County in Maryland when he just went straight up anti-woke and anti-LGBTQ on the entire school board, and in particular the main person on that panel. He let him have it, and he let him know exactly how he felt about the wokeness that they're trying to filter into through the school system and into the children that go there. Second, I'd like to know your thoughts and perspective on the major wins that Trump has gotten in the economy when it came to the jobs report, unemployment rate falling, and the housing market, mortgage affordability hitting a 4-year high, and rates going down to their lowest in years. Lastly, I'd like to know how you felt about watching the district attorney of Minnesota squirm as Senator Hawley interrogated his ass about those audio tapes where he was found negotiating terms with the Feeding Our Future contributors or the NGO associates that had to do with that $250 million scheme. That's it for this episode of TVR Live. If you stayed on this long, I appreciate you. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm Angel. This is the Vazquez Report. Peace. In case you missed it, I just had an episode on how black people are rejecting the false narrative perpetuated by the Democrats about how they're against voter ID and how it's discriminatory to pass legislation that makes people show ID to vote, which sounds ridiculous, and how black people felt about the Super Bowl halftime show. If you missed that episode, don't worry, because it's coming up right here.